this episode of Living Well, Uintah Basin. We highlight the Basin's great basketball teams and what makes them successful athletes. On Dish by Dish, Jason Webb shares a family recipe of biscuits and gravy that you will love. Living Well, Uintah Basin, presented by Ashley Regional Medical Center. Also made possible by Warriors Warehouse and Uintah Recreation District. Living Well, Beyond the Couch.
We had high expectations coming into the season. You know, we had a bunch of seniors on our team, and we really expected that we could win and that we'd have a good season. And I thought we got off to a really good start. We had some confidence that we could win games, and you know, I was really happy with the way we worked. You know, I thought we had a little bit different group. You know, sometimes we would practice really well and we would play not so well in the games, and then there were times where we would, you know, vice versa. And so, but being a senior team and being experienced, I always felt like we were prepared, and I really think our coaching staff did a good job of, you know, game planning and giving ourselves an opportunity to be successful. Coming to practice every day and being with the kids, you know, and just seeing them progress and grow was huge. That was a lot of fun for me. Games were awesome. You know, the more the season progressed, the deeper we got into the tournament, preparing for the tournament. Awesome. You know, I loved our playoff game right here with Tooele. Probably one of the better experiences that we've had, to play very well in a playoff game. I was very proud of our kids and how they played. And then obviously, you know, playing in the quarterfinals, you know, at the Maverick Center was huge for us. And we don't like to talk about the first half, but it was sure fun in the second half. Coming and giving ourselves a chance to win and feeling that excitement of a tournament game was awesome. It always starts in the off season. You know, we always talk about how players are developed and built in the off season, and teams are built during the season. And I was really happy with the commitment that our kids had in the off season. We put a lot of time in, and you know, we had kids in the weight room and we had kids in the gym shooting and developing their skills.
I think during practices our coaches really made it seem game-like. Like, we didn't ever have practices where we just messed around and did silly things. We always practiced hard and played as hard as we could, so that in game times it would seem a little bit easier to play.
One thing that was big for me that I didn't really realize until this year that would have helped a lot in my other 2 years playing varsity is to just play like you're a senior. And that's something you just gotta wait until you're a senior to find out, but knowing that this is your last year playing and just, you know you're gonna miss it when you're done. You gotta go out and give it your all. When you're younger, it's easier to just brush it off if you don't play well and think about the next year or the year after that, you know, but just coming in and working hard every day because it's limited minutes that you got left. Just putting it all out there, play like a senior.
Well, I come out and I play as hard as I can every game. Just my team, I try to play my best for them. I know that they'll do the best for me. And also I want to go on and play college ball, and that drives me to be better and get better every day I can. So.
Freedom Fitness would like to thank you for your years of patronage. We at Warriors Warehouse are happy to take over the legacy of Freedom Fitness and will support you for years to come. Stop in today.
Finding a family physician can be time-consuming and frustrating. Ashley Regional Medical Center has a solution. Dr. Matt Bowen. Dr. Bowen is a family practice physician and opened his practice in August of 2014. Dr. Bowen is skilled in all aspects of family medicine, from pediatrics to geriatrics, and can treat you and your family for anything from coughs and flu to high blood pressure. Call 781-1200 for appointments.
Living Well Health and Wellness Tip brought to you by Warriors Warehouse.
Have you ever run out of gas during a long workout or a run? Fill your tank with fast-acting carbs such as Sharkies or Honey Stingers.
And these products are made for kids and adults alike, so whether you're making it through your toughest workout or just through the Little League game, it's going to give you that energy that you need to get through. In addition, honey contains vitamins and minerals that are going to help the body function optimally, as well as help boost immune function.
Come get your Honey Stingers and Sharkies at Warriors Warehouse, 1060 West Market Drive, Suite 1, here in Vernal.
Living Well, Dish by Dish.
All right, welcome back to Dish by Dish. I'm your host, Jason Webb. Today we're going to focus a little bit more on a recipe that's really near and dear to me. My grandmother, Shirley, passed away not too long ago, and one of my fondest memories of her was her cooking biscuits and gravy in the morning. One of the things that was shared at the wake was the fact that she never said how much of anything was. So it was really hard to produce the same results because we didn't have measurements for what it was that she was cooking. So in the spirit of Shirley's great biscuits and gravy, we're going to do this my way and the way that my father taught me, which I don't know if it's exactly what Grandma did, but it's about as close as we're going to be able to get. So what we've got is we're using Jiffy Muffin Mix, Jiffy Muffin Baking Mix. And this you can get at any grocery store. It's going to be down in the baking aisle. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to do the drop biscuit recipe for that, which is, in this case, just the baking mix and then milk. And instead of doing drop biscuits, I like to do roll biscuits. So we'll get this somewhat started, and once we get it kind of to where it's almost hardened, we'll throw it out onto the counter and roll it out. And you're going to want to flour up your counter just a little bit so it's not going to stick. And this is actually a little bit more runny than I wanted it to be. So what you do in a case like this is we're going to add a little bit more of the Jiffy Mix. You have to eyeball it, unfortunately, because you don't want it to go too hard on you or too dry, but you definitely don't want it to be quite that moist. And it's going to be kind of the consistency of oatmeal, kind of a thick oatmeal. Now we're going to take a little bit of the flour. This is also going to dry out your biscuit mix a little bit, which is fine. That's what you kind of want. You want it to be a dough when you're done. And I always make sure that I put some on my hands as well, and my rolling pin. That way nothing sticks. So before you start with your rolling pin, you're just going to want to roll this up until it starts forming a ball. And don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. And it's actually going to get a little bit harder as you go along. If you need to, you can add some more flour to the mix. And don't worry about how much flour you put in it. It's not going to hurt the recipe at all. Now you could stop here and do drop biscuits, which is basically, instead of rolling them out and making uniform circles, you just take a ball and drop it in the pan like that, or on your cookie sheet. All right, so as you can see now, we've got a nice ball of dough that we're working with. And you can make these biscuits as thick or as thin as you want. And then any old cup will do, a mug, or if you've got a cookie cutter, by all means. Just roll up your dough, do it all over again so that you get as many biscuits as you can from your dough. And while you're cutting these out, you can set your stove, or your oven, to about 350. And you're going to bake these until they're golden brown on top, which is usually about 15 minutes or so, depending on your altitude and your oven. And then when you get down to the very last, it's been tradition in my family to make one odd-shaped biscuit, and usually that's the very first one to go. Very first one to be eaten or picked up. I think we're going to have just enough to do, yep. So there's your odd one. This will be mine. Okay, so those are going to go in the oven, and then we're going to clean up and we'll get ready to do the sausage. All right, so now we're actually going to work on the gravy while the biscuits are baking. Let the biscuits go for about 5 minutes. That way your timing will be close to about the same time coming out. So what we're going to do first is we're going to brown the sausage. Now what I've got here is just natural Jimmy Dean sausage, but you can use any kind you want. However, you might want to think about doing the sage flavored or the maple flavored after you've tried it with just the regular sausage first. I always encourage people to try the recipe based on what it is first and then start adding your flair to it later. One of the things that my family likes to do is cook one slice of bacon in the pan as well, and then that actually gets mixed in the gravy. It gives it a little bit different flavor. You're more than welcome to do that, but for this one we're just going to do a basic how Grandma used to do it. So we'll go ahead and throw the sausage in, and then we'll get the rest of the ingredients in once the sausage is browned. Alright, so now what we're going to do is once we got that sausage nice and brown, we're going to add in about a 1/4 cup of flour. Usually I have a little bit more on standby just in case I need it. And what you're doing with this is you're coating the sausage and getting it ready to become the gravy. So that flour is going to absorb all the next little bits of sausage at the bottom of the pan. So once that kind of coats the sausage, then you're going to add in 1 can of evaporated milk. This is going to deglaze the pan as well. What that means is all of your little burnt little bits at the bottom that add that really good rich sausage flavor to them, that's going to, the evaporated milk is actually going to pull that up off the pan for you. Then you're going to cook that for about 10 minutes or so until it thickens up. All right, so we've now got our gravy cooked. Now the gravy, it's really all up to you. I usually keep some milk on hand. The more it sits on the stove, the thicker it's going to get. So if you want it a little bit thinned out, have some milk nearby. Just pour some milk in it, cook it in there until it's that consistency that you want. So we'll go ahead and pull these out. Those are beautiful. Now you can see why the odd-shaped one is always the first one to go, because it's usually the biggest. Oh, that's beautiful. Now I like my gravy a little on the thicker side, so it's completely up to you on how you want to do it. Like I said, if you want it a little thinner, just put in some more milk. Get my fork. I'm ready to try some of this. And that is Grandma Shirley's famous biscuits and gravy. Now let's go ahead and have a bite. I've been looking forward to this all week. The sausage mixes perfectly with that gravy. Just goes right along with that biscuit. Look how flaky that biscuit ended up turning. Oh, wonderful. Well, that's all the time we have for Dish by Dish. Remember to always tip your server, and that includes your pizza boy.
Be sure to like us on Facebook for updates on VTV Channel 6 programming. Don't forget, you can watch current and previous episodes of Living Well on demand at VTVChannel6.com. And while you're there, be sure to send us an idea for an upcoming episode. If you enjoy Living Well Uintah Basin, please take the opportunity to reach out and thank the local, community-minded businesses that make it possible. Ashley Regional Medical Center, Warriors Warehouse, and Uintah Recreation District. Until next time, live well and stay healthy, Uintah Basin.